Hello. Thank you for joining us today for a conversation about the upcoming appointment of a city councilor at large. My name is Lisa Lehman. I am the 17th Ward Democratic Committee Chair, and joining me today is Rita Paniagua, who is the Syracuse Common Council President-elect. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent. So I'm wondering if we could start for those out there who might be wondering about the position of Common Councilor at Large. I'm wondering if you could start us off by talking a little bit about the nuts and bolts of this position, like how much it makes, how many hours it takes, and what they do.
So right now, that position, our counselors earn it's considered a part-time job,
Mhm.
and they earn 35. It's a little bit more than 30, but 35 plus a little bit
Mhm.
thousand a year.
Mhm.
The nuts and bolts of the job. Well, it's when you think about it, it's a full time and a half because we're always representing. Once you get into this, you no matter where you are or what you're doing, you're always representing, your district or if it's at large, government. It's something that just it's part of you as a person. The things that are mandatory of this position, it's the study sessions. There's two study sessions
Mhm.
every other week, and then following the second study session, there's the regular meeting, which is where we take the vote of the items we're gonna move forward for the city to implement action initiatives, different things. So those are mandatory. Then we have within the items of the agenda, sometimes there are things we would like to explore a little deeper, things we need to really know a little bit more about to make informed decisions, and to cast a vote that would make sense to represent our different districts or at large the city of Syracuse. There are what we call committee meetings.
Mhm.
There are 10 committee meetings, not meetings, 10 committees. And then depending on the issue at hand, these are canalized through the committee chairs that relevant to if it's DPW, if it's finance, if it's education, whatever that may be, right? And so those are mandatory as well, as much as possible. Sometimes, because I think that right now, almost all of the counselors have other jobs. It's important, that we take in consideration that they also have a responsibility elsewhere. So we try to finagle, the times and how long these meetings are. We usually keep them to an hour. Sometimes they're a little shorter, and sometimes they may go over, but that's not the regular
Okay.
activity. Yes. So that right there, in a nutshell, it's the job. And then, of course, it's the responsibility of each counselor to be out there in the community representing, to be representative of your districts or issues at large. Then, we need to be in in community committees, different boards that we're part of, and just being respectful, right, of their initiatives and attend to their events and make sure that they feel represented.
Okay. And the position that's open now is a counselor at large. So that
Correct.
person is responsive to the whole community of Syracuse, right?
Correct.
They're not
Yeah.
just in one district. So that's perhaps even more neighborhood meetings and things like that to be a part
Yes.
of. And
Yes.
the functional meetings, the study sessions and the actual meetings, those are during the day, right? Those are,
Everything is
yeah.
yes. Everything
Okay.
usually at city council, the meetings are usually from 12 to 1.
Mhm.
And then if, for instance, at the regular voting meeting is it's at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Yes. So
Okay. And then, and for this term, this appointment is a special appointment to fill the seat you had before you were elected to council president. And that term this person will need to run for reelection in November, right?
they would have to correct. So
Okay.
the process, the way this as process it's established, All of those that would be interested in having a chance to be appointed to the position, they have to submit their resume through the clerk's office.
Okay.
Once the clerk office gets, there's a window that is announced that it's time to submit your resumes, and then there's a window where we will be advising that, the window closes on such whatever day that maybe we don't have that set yet, so we
Okay.
don't have a. I don't have anything to tell you on that regard
Gotcha.
right now. But just keep your keep communicating, with the website, and if you need to call the council's office and the clerk's office, we will give you all the information.
Okay.
But once it goes to the clerk's office, then when they have all of those resumes, then they bring them to council. The
Mhm.
council makes a private vote. Each
Okay.
councilor can vote for their top two,
Okay.
based on what they have in front of them, right? Of the resumes they have
Mhm.
in front of them. So
Mhm.
then we bet from those votes who got more votes. So we
Mhm.
select two out of whatever
Okay.
everybody's top two were, and
Mhm.
then those two, they need to be interviewed
Mhm.
in chambers, and then
Okay.
then there's a final vote to select that person in chambers.
And are those interviews public? Are they part of the public meetings? Okay.
Yes, yes, they are.
Okay. And do we expect that this will probably be in January or roughly? I mean,
So there's no set date for something like that. It's actually up to me to set a date for that. I remember when we did this in the past, we did it in February one time. Yes, it's usually done after, at the end of January, beginning of February.
okay. And politics being what it is, I would imagine that people have an inclination to lobby each of the people who are voting here, the common council members. Is that part of the process? Is that okay and
It is.
expected?
It
Or
is.
okay. All
Yeah,
right.
if you're interested, it's okay to call the counselors and let them know about your interest.
Okay.
It's okay to do that. Yes.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yes.
And then can you talk a little bit about what you and the other counselors will be looking for? Like what makes a good counselor?
Well, it's definitely somebody that has the time.
Mhm.
It's important. I mean that once you're either appointed or elected,
Mhm.
that you. Oh, by the way, this person has to run in this November,
Yes.
and again because the term is
Yeah.
termed out in
Yeah.
in the next November. So there's two
Okay.
elections in a row they're
Okay.
responsible for.
So this
Just
is
so,
not a way to shortcut the process. This should be a person who intends to run to keep the office and will have to do it twice. So this is not an easy
exactly.
way out. Okay.
Exactly. You just need to make sure that you're up to it, right? So we definitely need somebody that would have the time to comply with what's mandatory, and definitely the expectation is that the rest happens too, like community visits, committees, boards, all of that good stuff. So that because it's the only way you're well informed of what's happening in the community, right? In this particular case, I am making some changes, which we're submitting tomorrow, of some of our committees. The names of our committees, they were established in the 80s. And so it's been a long, long time. Some of them, yes,
Okay.
some of them are not relevant anymore to the work we do because things, well, life changes and things, we move on. And so that's one of the first things I'm doing is reviewing that to make sure that our committees are relevant to the departments, to the city departments,
Mhm.
and so that we can have a relationship where each counselor would be the representative of the issues in a certain department, right?
Okay.
So, but then for that, we're adding also an additional committee to represent technology and government effectiveness.
Ah,
Uh,
interesting. Okay.
so it would be great if from the pool that we get that if somebody does have that as a skill, it would be
Okay.
yes, it would be great.
Good to know.
But yeah, but but it doesn't. That's not what elects the person. It's just
A nice to have.
it would be nice to have, correct. Yes.
Okay. And for anyone applying, they should perhaps watch some of the council meetings, which are public and available on YouTube. I can provide a link below. And think about, what committees would be most relevant and where could they provide the most value. I would imagine that that would be a good thing to have in mind.
Absolutely. And you know what? So they can also visit the chambers while we're meeting. It's welcome. Anybody's welcome to visit those meetings, and that way you get you sample. You experience it in real life and in
Good
real
suggestion.
time.
Okay.
So that would be a good thing too. And then you get to meet us, and you can definitely at that point. Let us know if you are intending to put your name in the in the hat.
Very good. And I
Yeah.
should say too, for some people, it may not be obvious. If a person wants to run as a Democrat and gets this appointment and intends to run for reelection in November, there's a timetable that is much further back than I think most people realize. And they should, at the same time that they're applying for this, fill out some paperwork for the Democratic Party to signal their intent to run in November.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely. That happens in February, if I'm not mistaken. And then because then you want to seek for the designation, definitely.
Exactly, exactly. And it may be as early January. We're going to do another video with Max Ruckteschel to talk about those
Uh-huh.
deadlines. So
Yes.
look out for that if you're out there and you're wondering about this. But that is something that should be done at the same time because the calendar for running for office is a long one and there's a long process, which we'll get into more detail on.
Yeah. And it's a lot. I mean, we get it. It's very in this particular appointment, it's I thought in my mind that they could just be appointed and then go on into in the position until it was
Yeah,
the position was ready to run again.
yeah,
But then no, I learned a few weeks ago that they need to definitely run
yeah.
this November.
It's good. We all have to face the people, and it's good to be reminded of that, and it's good to be ready for it.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
All right. Is there anything else anyone out there should be thinking about if they're considering putting their hat in the ring for this, or just anything else we should know?
Well, I think it's important that you're open-minded,
Mhm.
that you start researching, what each committee is, what they stand for,
Mhm.
what the issues are at hand right now, and which helps you project what's coming. There's, as we all know, there's a housing crisis, and that,
Oh,
I mean, we're in the process of working, right, to quickly, depending,
yeah,
because
yeah,
this is not something that we're going to resolve quickly, but as quick as we can.
yeah.
It's good that in whoever is interested it starts engaging with some of these issues, so that you're prepared. Yeah.
You just reminded me of one other thing. There's kind of a seasonal rhythm to these things too, right? And there's a period in which the budget will be front and center, and almost all of the attention will be on the budget as submitted by the mayor, but reviewed by the council and
Right.
amended. And so there's that season, and then there are also opportunities to legislate, right?
Right.
To write
Right.
legislation if there is a need for
Right.
anything.
So
Um,
the budget it's very close.
mhm,
Right, once the turn of the year, we start working on with the budget,
mhm.
and getting at least some reports of where things are, so that everybody can start pulling together. I know that the departments are starting um, to put together their budgets already. I and little by little, the discussion starts pretty soon, actually. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Um, Thank you so much. I think this is very helpful. Obviously, we want the best person for the city, and we want to make sure that it is widely known how to apply so that we can encourage people to run. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time today.
It's great to be here anytime.
Thank you.